or Nightmares of a Landlord. The chapters I'm proposing and that I'm working on is as follows. Tip of the iceberg, the business, sex, violence, drugs, and prostitutes, extortion, dead bodies, death threats, drugs, crazy and divorcing tenants, ex-employees, damage control, guns drawn, nutcase owners, neighbors, the good, the bad, and yes, the ugly, ruined rental homes, scary people, Section 8, and welfare fraud. There's an intro here, and I want to call it Ugly Fights Tenants, Owners, and Staff. Intro, the stories you see here are based on true events. I know, I lived most of them, and I have first-hand accounts of other stories from my own agents that work for me. By the way, I have 11 employees at this time, and I've been dealing with rentals for about 30 years. Some names have been changed to protect the innocent, of course, and to keep some of the more litigious from suing me. Yes, you'll have to take my word on much of what is written here in this book at times. I will regress to an earlier time so that my dates might be off a bit. So I'll do my best to be accurate on all counts. My company is BCI Property LLC in Lakewood, Washington. And as of this writing, we have 10 employees. Well, it's 11 now. Full-time and 2 part-time. We're currently A+ rated with a BBB. We are in the general area of the city of Tacoma de Puget Sound, which is a seaport gateway to the Pacific Rim and more. Lakewood is a fairly new city. They were just in the outskirts of Tacoma before, just like University Place, who's now also a city. The Puget Sound is like a smaller cousin to the spectacular Norwegian fjords, with its many islands and passages going up into Canada and then Alaska. Tacoma used to be a very interesting and great place to live. Its history was alive with talent and life. That all changed sometime in the early 1970s with various gangs from Southern California came to this pristine and mostly innocent area to apply their trade of drugs, pimps, and murder. I came here with my family from Northern California in part to find some peace and safety for my family, and we initially moved to Anchorage on Fidalgo Island back in San Juan Islands, just north of Seattle. This is, let's see, 1980, 2010. Well, this is over 30 years ago now. So Anchorage is on Fidalgo Island, just north of Seattle, in the San Juan Islands. And we owned property there. It is a beautiful yet sleepy area known as a fishing community with a big scrap paper mill and shell refinery supporting the local population. We migrated south to the Sea of Tacoma after a failed business partnership with an elder in our church who absconded with a young woman and our entire bank account. As I remember, it's over $100,000 cash. Well, he left his beautiful wife and kids and my family with nothing to live on. We lost 2 homes, our entire business during that debacle. He and his 2 brothers were ruthless, scheming, and selfish bullies who got by on their good looks, charm, and a bit of skill in the trades. I could write a whole chapter on this evil yet clever trio of gangsters. Forced into bankruptcy and driven out of town to find a more robust place to live, we chose Tacoma, Washington. Here I was able to finally buy 2 houses next to each other on separate parcels and rented one out. Eventually, by the grace of God, we were able to do well enough to own our own small auto sales and repair shop with 7 employees. Plus, we had this rental house. We eventually divested ourselves of the automotive business altogether. My wife and I both got our Washington State real estate license and worked with John L. Scott Realty for several years, along with our older son Don and his wife Sarah. We bought and sold many homes and properties during that time. At the same time, I got involved in website building as a side interest. I always seem to like to multitask. If I can have 2, 3, 4 things going at one time, that was always exciting. So got involved with the websites, and I learned how to write HTML, JavaScript, Perl scripting, and I built about 260 commercial websites. The most notably a 25,000 website for the Larson Automotive Group, looklarson.com, which after that they got their own internal webmaster and IT guy, and they rebuilt the website later on, along with over 200 other, it was about 260 websites. Then I decided to own my own real estate brokerage and named it BCI Properties LLC. BCI stands for Business Consultants International, which I own about 32 domain names and websites, and that's one of them. I also have my own server still, and I host my websites on my server. So that's the intro. Now, hello, I'm your new landlord. Has been my greeting to many a new tenant. What initial gut feeling do they give you? Was it a warm, cozy, and friendly feeling? Or was it a feeling of dread, fear, hate, loathing, or disdain? I'm a professional property manager, also known as a landlord. I own a number of my own rentals now, while I employ 10 people to help, 11 people to help me out to run my property management company just south of Seattle. We manage approximately 570 rentals as of this writing. My wife Emily and I have worked with rentals for over 30 years. We did not need a license to manage properties we own, but eventually we did become licensed. Way before Fidalgo and Anacortes Island, we lived in Vallejo, California, where we had met in a local congregation of JWs when we were 16 years old. I came from Napa, California, where I graduated in 1968. And I had my own car and a job at 16. I've been working since I was 10 years old. Back then, it was cutting grass on the weekends so I could give my mom $5 for milk or eggs or whatever. But I just pretty much worked the whole time. So anyway, back when I met my wife, she was a real hottie, and in fact she's still pretty good looking. Beautiful Filipino girl with long black hair. Well, I finally got her to marry me at 18 years old, and I can openly admit that we were not even a little bit savvy when we rented our first apartment. We had no street smarts. We were cheated by one landlord named Doug Logan, a smiling, fat, greasy, and devious-looking creep who defrauded us out of our deposit, even after my dad and sisters helped ensure the place was cleaner than we found it. And most certainly, we deserved a refund. We sued him in court and won. But he countersued, and he won because we paid him in cash on our last payment, and he was supposed to mail us a receipt, which he never did. In court, he lied and said we never paid him, so of course he won his countersuit since he never gave us the receipt and we could not prove otherwise. So he didn't have to pay us for the lawsuit. We won. One balanced out the other. Another landlady put us into a dark, wet, dank basement with my wife pregnant at the time with our first child. The mold and mildew was too much for her. We were forced to move out. We lost that deposit too, and I still to the, I hated everything about landlords. When I got into this business by chance, I promised to protect tenants and those who I could, and I still do that today. We work closely with the Catholic Community Services, Associated Ministries, Helping Hands, and several other charitable organizations which are listed in our final credits to help the poor and homeless to find affordable housing. We also manage upscale homes, condos, and some small commercial properties as rentals for owners who are not able or willing to manage their asset. We manage our rental properties as though they were our own. We do sell homes and have 2 in escrow for closing right now, as of this writing. I just closed another sale. Is quite large. It's a multi-family complex, and we encourage tenants to be homeowners. But of course, that's another story. Our staff at BCI Properties LLC can be seen at bcirent.com. That's bcirent.com. They have actually encouraged me to write this book as a true story about our company and our industry because of all the crazy things we've all seen and been part of while managing. I'll include real stories about sex, violence, dead bodies, crazy tenants, nutcase owners, scary people, good, bad, and ugly neighbors, guns drawn, knocked down, fights among tenants, plus also a bit about the drama of fights among staff. You'll be able to read about fist fights with clients and neighbors, threats of death. Oh my God, where do I stop? Ruined rental homes by drugged out tenants, flooded homes, angry insurance agents, crashed company cars, ex-employee who tried to steal my clients, working with prostitutes, working girls, the pole dancers who rent from us. We're not prejudiced. If people can pay their rent, we'll rent to them. We just have to screen them carefully. Section 8, nightmares, tenants doing drugs and meth labs. You'll read about our involvement with divorcing tenants who demand we arbitrate or take sides between them. You know, really, they need a skilled counselor, not a landlord. So, okay, so you get the picture, right? Tip of the iceberg. And that's where I'm going to start in on my first chapter.